Hi, I hope all of you all can hear me. Hi, and welcome to this technical analysis session. We are so glad that you all could make it today. I hope this session is going to be of more value for you when it comes to investments and trading. My name is Vivian. I will be conducting the seminar for you all today. I've been a senior analyst in technical analysis with Century for about 5 years now. Now, coming to the session today, we are going to be doing more on a little basic side of technical analysis. It's not going to be very advanced. So, if you're very new to technical analysis, do not worry, it's going to be easy to understand. Before I go ahead and start the session, I would like to put a poll question across to you all. It's basically for me to understand what level of experience do you have in technical analysis. So you can take about 2 to 3 minutes just to answer these questions. So basically, what level of experience do you have in technical analysis? If you're a beginner, just click on beginner. If you're advanced, you can click on advanced so that I know the audience I'm speaking to as well. We'll just give it another 10 more seconds. I think I've not gotten 100% answers yet. All right, I think majority have clicked on the beginner side of it. So that's good to know because I'm going to keep it very simple and light for each one of you all to understand. If you already do have experience in technical analysis, this might add more value to the knowledge that you already have. And of course, we're going to be looking at, apart from the technical analysis, there's an important aspect that I'm going to be covering today. That is the risk reward in the market. And how are we going to use the technical analysis, which will help us take a decision, but also how to determine how much of profit or how much of risk we should be taking on every trade that you take or on every investment. So I hope that will add more value to an experienced person. Moving forward, let's look at what technical analysis is. Now, for the day, we are going to be looking at relative strength index and average true range. Relative strength index basically gives us an indication of the strength in the market, whether it is a strong buy or a strong sell, or if the strength in the market is kind of extremely overbought or oversold. So the basic foundation that we need to understand between technical analysis and a fundamental analysis is technical analysis has everything to do with the price action and price movement as well as volume. When you do fundamental analysis is, for example, let's say you're looking at the company Apple, and you do a fundamental analysis on what the company does and the prospect of that particular company. Now, we know Apple is a good technology company. They've been coming up with advanced technology every year. They've been coming up with new models of their phones, new versions, and based on the products that they've been releasing, the demand for it also, they have captured a very good portion of the market share. Now, fundamentally, when I do an analysis, I do an analysis as to what their products are, how much of their products are being sold, how many new customers are coming into place, what is their revenue year on year, quarter on quarter. So these come under fundamental analysis. But if I have to decide when to buy Apple, probably there are a lot of other things apart from fundamentals. I know Apple is a good fundamentally strong company, maybe for the next 5 years or even more. But then that does not always reflect, or that does not always tell us that buying Apple today at its current market price might be the best price. Maybe Apple might give you a 10% correction or a drop, where that 10% drop would be a better buying opportunity. So these are the things that a technical analysis can help you identify. Instead of buying something at the wrong time, we can always time the market based on the previous historical price movement and try and find a good entry point. Moving forward, I'll make whatever I just told you all more simpler with a lot of examples So I'll also be showing you few live charts so that on the live chart you'll be able to understand what I just told you all about on technical analysis. Let's move forward now. Now that we know, again, I would like to request each one of you all, if you like the webinar that we've been doing, and if you've attended a previous webinar as well, and if you like this webinar that you're going to be listening to me today, please give us your review on Google. We are right there, and your review would really mean a lot to us. Now, coming to technical analysis, we just covered it. Technical analysis is a trading discipline employed to evaluate investments and identifying trading opportunities by analyzing statistical trends gathered from trading activities such as price movement. Basically, in short, the previous price movement and the behavior of a particular stock or a particular commodity will give us a good idea as to what we could expect in the future. Another example of a commodity would be seasonality. Certain commodities move based on seasonalities because of, let's say, especially if it's an agro commodity. There are seasonalities, and the pricing of that particular commodity goes up and down based on season. So it is more easier for us to always wait for a good opportunity because the seasons do not change that often. But however, the price action can help us identify a good entry price. So in short, based on the previous price action that has happened, the price movement is what we are going to look at to project what we can look at in the future using technical analysis. Now, in technical analysis, we are going to be covering relative strength index. Basically, the definition of relative strength index is it is a momentum indicator used in technical analysis that measures the magnitude of recent price changes to evaluate overbought and oversold conditions in the price of a stock or on any other asset. So RSI is not only limited to a stock. You can use RSI on any commodity or any currencies, anything that is tradable in the market. The RSI is displayed as an oscillator. RSI pretty much moves as an oscillator between two ranges, which I'll be getting into very soon. I will show it to you on the charts as well. So the graph has two extremes. One is zero right at the bottom, and it can go up to 100%, that is right at the max. So this is two extremes. We will not get into the calculation of RSI for today, but however, I will show you how RSI is used to look at what decision an investor or a trader can make. Now, if you're very new to Century, and if this is the first time that you are joining us, this is the platform that we use. It is the Next Generation platform. The chart that you're seeing currently is from the Next Generation platform. After this session, probably you can call up your respective relationship managers if you've been in touch with them and ask them for a demo account if you're very new and explore the platform. I've just put across the chart right away. I will show you the platform as well when I'm showing you the live chart. Uh, for us on a chart, there's a S&P 500 index. For those of you all are very new to investing, do not worry about the product for now. Let's just focus on where we are going to find RSI. I'm looking at a monthly chart. Right now, if I click on technicals, bar opens up at the bottom, and you have many studies right at the bottom. You can use a lot of studies for you to take a decision in the market, but today we'll be solely focusing on RSI. You go down here, click on studies. It'll open up all the studies that is out there in the market, and RSI is what I'm going to be choosing, and this is what RSI is. Now, how does RSI look? We've learned that RSI is an oscillator. So compared to the markets, market goes down, market goes up, and market can continue going up. But RSI is something that oscillates between this orange line that you see here and the blue line that you see here. The blue line represents 70% on the higher end, and the orange line represents 30% on the lower end. Extreme at the low will be 0%, whereas extreme right on top will be 100%. So RSI is always going to oscillate between these two ranges. Now, how does RSI help us? Every time RSI goes above your 70%, it is considered that the market has been overbought. Okay, every time you see a overbought region, market participants tend to be a little cautious, because once you're in an overbought region, the chances of the market slowly start to come back down, the chances increase. On the other side, it's the same thing. When it is oversold, when it once it goes below 30%, it is known as the oversold region. So a lot of investors wait for this oversold region to start buying back into the markets. And you see the price action that has happened on. Again, I'm looking at S&P 500, the same instrument on a monthly time frame. So this is a very long period data, but then I'm just showing you on a longer period. We look at the same on a shorter period on our live examples. So now you see the market was at overbought region once the price had reached somewhere here. The market consolidated around the same area before it gave us a drop. And once the drop has come to an oversold area, this is where buyers again in the market look for the opportunity to buy it back. The simple reason these levels do work, especially on the downside, is everyone likes to buy something when it is at a cheaper level. So people look at RSI quite closely to understand if it is quite oversold, so that they can start buying into the market and investing it for the long run. So this is what RSI is. This is how the RSI looks. Now let's move on to average true range. Now, average true range was the other instrument that I spoke to you all about, that we'll be discussing today. Average true range, basically, it's a technical indicator that measures the volatility of an asset's price. In short, for example, let's say there is an instrument, there's a stock that which is trading at $100. Let's say the stock on an everyday basis goes up by $5. There are some days where it goes up only by $2. There are some days where it drops by $2. And over a period of time, let's say over a period of 1 month, we take an average movement of how many dollars that particular stock can move. One thing that to be noted is average true range does not give us the direction of the market. It only tells you how many dollars or how many percentage can a particular instrument move. So why is average true range important? Once I understand that, and one more important point is the time frame that we are looking at. I can look at an instrument on a 30-minute time frame just to understand in the next 30 minutes how many dollars can that particular instrument move. And that is where average true range helps us. It helps us identify how many dollars it can move. And based on understanding how many dollars it can move, you can always decide how much of profit you could expect to make, and also vice versa. If it goes against you and you understand in a day this particular stock moves only $2, and right now it has moved $3, that means there are higher chances that it can go against you. So you can take a decision on your risk management as well. I will show you ATR more on a live trade as well to identify how many dollars of profit or stop loss that you can expect to keep on a given instrument. In the next session, I mean, sorry, at the end of the session when I'm doing the live trades for you all. Let's move forward. Again, ATR is the same thing, same chart. You go to technicals, you find studies, and under studies is where you're going to find your ATR, just the way you found RSI. So once you click on ATR, you get the average true range. So now average true range, like I mentioned to you, it only tells you how many dollars a particular instrument can move in a given time frame. In this example, we are looking at S&P 500 again on a monthly chart. So each candlestick represents, each candles that you see over here represents 1 month or 1 month worth of move. Now, what RSI shows me is from all the way, because I'm looking at a monthly time frame, I'm able to look at the data all the way from 2000 till today. And I see RSI had been trading somewhere roughly around $80. So the maximum movement that anyone could expect or anticipate at that point of time was only $80 in a single month. But if you notice from 2015 onwards, or rather 2016 onwards, the levels on changing in prices has increased. Now S&P 500 as of today in a single month can move about $330. Sorry, $230. Now, when I say it can move about $230, that does not mean it can move in the direction of on the upside, or it can move in the direction of the downside. One thing that we need to keep in mind is our ATR does not give us the direction of the market. It only tells us how many dollars can we expect this particular instrument to move in a month's time. Okay, I hope most of what I've covered right now has been easy to understand. If you all have any questions, please keep chatting with me and drop your questions, and I'll try and answer as many as questions possible while I'm teaching you all. At the same time, I'll try and answer some of your questions by the end of the session if we have time remaining. Moving forward, let's come to divergence. Now we'll keep ATR aside. Now we understand ATR helps us identify how many dollars a particular instrument can move in a given time frame. Now coming back to RSI. Now using the RSI, we can find few divergence in the market. Now just to give you an example of what a divergence is, let's say there is a industry standard where at one point of time it moves away from it. Like for example, let's say the price between two instruments are 100% correlated. In this example, not every two instrument is going to be 100% correlated, but any instrument that has 90% correlation. In the case of crude oil West Texas and crude oil Brent, now these are two different instruments in the market, okay, traded in two different exchanges, which has its own fundamentals behind it. But since the foundation of both the instruments is crude oil, one is crude oil West Texas listed in US, the other one is crude oil Brent listed in UK. Brent is always known to be the premium compared to crude oil West Texas. Now, if you notice, or if you've been in the market, you'll always notice that if crude oil Brent goes up by $2, most likely even crude oil West Texas has gone up by either $2 or $2.1 or $1.8. The correlation between the two is very highly tightly related. Hence, the movement on both is going to be pretty much the same. Now, let's assume crude oil Brent goes up by $10, and for the day, crude oil West Texas does not move. Now, this is where you see a divergence, because all these days we've been seeing, or all these years, we've been seeing crude oil Brent and WTI going up together or coming down together. But now suddenly you see one has moved and the other one has not moved. That is a divergence. So whenever you see a divergence in the market, you always expect it to converge back. Reason being, both of the underlying for crude oil is crude oil, so they cannot deviate from each other for a very long period of time. It has to come back to its normal industry mean. So that is what a divergence would mean. But here, the divergence that we will be looking at today will be on a technical aspect. I gave you more on a product aspect, but now we are looking at divergence in technicals. Now let's look at what divergence is. Basically, it's a popular concept in technical analysis that describes when the price is moving in the opposite direction of the technical indicator. Earlier, we were the example that I gave you was between two instruments. Now, this is between the price of the stock or the instrument and between the indicator. I will show you a couple of examples for these as well. Now, there are two types of divergence. One is a regular divergence and one is a hidden divergence. I will explain to you what both of these mean as well. Each type of divergence will contain either a bullish bias, meaning each divergence will give us a signal expecting the market to go up, or a bearish bias where the signal could be for the market where the market is expected to come down. Now, moving forward, looking at the divergence alone, let's look at regular divergence for the first part of it. A regular divergence is used as a possible sign for a trend reversal. There are two types of regular divergences, again, bullish and bearish. We understand bullish meaning we expect the prices to go up, bearish meaning we expect the prices to come down. Let's look at a regular bullish divergence. So now in this case, I've taken Euro USD as an example. It's a currency pair, okay, on a 4-hour time frame. Okay. Now, how does a bullish divergence form? Ideally, in an RSI, wherever you see, let's look at this particular upside momentum over here. So whenever the price moves up, that means the RSI goes up because it is relative strength index. It is showing the strength of the market. So usually the strength of the market is always with the price action, but in certain cases the opposite happens. Here you can see the prices are making lower lows, okay, whereas the RSI, which is supposed to be following the price action, is actually making higher lows, meaning every time it is coming back down, the buyers are buying back into it much earlier, as in the basis for buyers to come into the market, reason being fundamentals could be one of the factor. There could be other factors where euro is becoming strong, or probably the dollar is becoming more weaker. We see a lot of buyers coming back into the markets, and hence you see this divergence. Convergence is where, or rather than convergence, it goes in line with the markets, but divergence is when the price action is going down, whereas your RSI indicator, the momentum, the strength is showing towards the upside. This is where you could expect the prices to move back up, and after testing 3 4 points, it gives you a higher indication saying that the price reversal could be on a higher probability side. And in this case, the prices has eventually moved back up, and you see the RSI has come back into its place. Now, the market went up, it went till overbought, the price went up, sorry, and RSI went up to the overbought region. And then you see the market started dropping back down again. Here you see the RSI dropping back as equivalent to the market. So the divergence over here is one indicator that you can identify to find a bullish signal in the market. Now let's look at the opposite. Now this is a bearish divergence. A bearish divergence is basically if the price is making a higher high. So this is the price. In this case, I used a line chart instead of a bar chart so that it looks more cleaner to understand. So basically, these are the price movement that has happened on a 4-hour chart. Again, this is also Euro USD. In this case, you see the price is making higher high. That means the markets are going higher than the previous. Every time it drops, it makes a new high. That means there are a lot of buyers buying into it, and hence it is making new highs. The more the new highs, the more the market could be expected to go up. But when we look at the relative strength index, the index is not making a higher high. In fact, it is making a lower high, meaning the strength on the buy side is slowly dying out. In this case, if you look at it, the market eventually, after touching 3 points, market has given a good drop. This is quite a big drop on Euro USD. It has dropped from 1.235 to almost 1.210. That's more than 100 pips, so which is a good drop for a currency pair. And then you see once the drop happens, market eventually kind of starts settling down, and then the RSI starts following the market price. So we look for divergence for a signal. If there's no divergence, then you wait for a divergence if you're specifically looking for a divergence based strategy to trade. Now, this is on a regular bearish and bullish divergence. The regular divergence is best used when trying to pick tops and bottoms. So these divergence help for people who are trying to find where the market can reverse from. Mostly it is a reverse strategy. People wait for the market to drop, and they want to understand from where they can start buying back so that the market reverses back and goes in their favor. So that is the regular divergence. Now let's look at the hidden divergence. Now, hidden divergence is pretty much the same concept but slightly different. Okay, divergence not only gives us signal in the potential trend reversal, but a hidden divergence actually gives you a signal in line with the trend. For example, let's say you do not want to go against your trend. There's a famous saying, trend is always your friend. So always be with the trend so that you do not end up being on the losing side. So if you're a person, or if you're an investor or a trader who always wants to be in the side of trend, a hidden divergence would be the best strategy to go with instead of going with the regular divergence. Let's look at a hidden divergence example over here. So hidden divergence, bullish divergence. So basically, you find an instrument which is bullish or which is strong or which is continuously going up. In this case, I've taken Tesla Motors as an example because of late Tesla has been giving a good upward momentum. But let's say you are an investor who wants to get into Tesla, but you want to buy it at a right price. So you'll always wait for that drop. So in that case, you want to go with the trend. You want to buy into Tesla whenever it gives you a drop, but you need a good signal to enter, and that is where hidden bullish divergence could give you a couple of signals. I'm looking at a 1 hour time frame, so it's much more shorter time frame than what we saw in the previous example. In this case, what happens is once price makes a higher low. So in this case, we are looking at the price making a higher low. That means the prices go up, but when it comes back up, buyers immediately buy it back. So it's not even making a lower low; it is making a higher low. Reason being, everyone's looking for that dip to buy, and they're entering as much as possible as soon as possible. So high the volume, the prices jump back up. While this is happening, you see a divergence in the RSI. The RSI is making lower low. If it is making lower low, we understand every time the price is above the blue line, it is overbought. Every time the price is below the orange line, it is oversold. So in this case, when buyers are aggressively buying back, and whenever the price is going down below in terms of the divergence here, you see it is coming back to oversold region quite quickly. Hence, the divergence has been made. So in this case, you get back into the market once you are at the oversold position to continue with the uptrend. And in this case, the market continued going back up. So the divergence over here is a hidden divergence, is because we are looking at market continuing with the trend. Let's look at the opposite side of it. I know it might be slightly complicated when it comes to hidden divergence and a regular divergence, but the idea is the main difference between the both. With a hidden divergence, you want to participate in the market in the direction of the trend. In a regular divergence, you always participate in the market expecting the market to change the direction. I will try and show you a couple of them even on a live example. Now, this is the hidden bearish divergence. Pretty much the same, but on the opposite direction. Here you see the price is making lower highs. Earlier it was higher highs. In this case, sorry, higher lows. But in this scenario, we are looking at lower highs. So meaning the steam. So I chose gold again because recently gold has been dropping. So I want to look at gold, or if an investor is trying to look at gold to sell, so or a trader who's trying to look at a gold to short sell to gain from it, would look at this particular divergence to get a signal whether it's a good idea to sell or not. In this case, you see lower highs, but when you look at the RSI, it is making higher highs. So you see a divergence over here again. In this case, you see it has come to overbought for the third time, and once you know it is overbought, you can always expect the market to continue going back down. In this case, since it's a trend following divergence, you can expect the market to drop back down, and that is what has happened over here. So in this case, we are expect a short seller would take a short position at this price, and once it gives a good dip, they will take a profit on it and probably look for a bullish bias again from here. Any questions so far, please do ask me, and I would love to answer your questions. Because after this, we will be moving on to a live chart, and I will show you a couple of live examples. And I will also show you how to use RSI on a more simpler strategy in the beginning, and then you slowly adapt the divergence also along with those strategies. Uh, okay, I'm still waiting for a question. Okay, can we say the circle of divergence and convergence repeats at alternate frequency? No, not really. It does not always. So the divergence that you actually see in the market is one of instance that you keep finding on a given time frame. So every time there's a divergence, that is a good indication, or that would be a good time to enter into a specific trade given the time frame that you're looking at. But most of the cases, if you look at RSI, it is always in line with the market movement. So divergence are the opportunities that we get, and the higher the time frame, lesser the opportunities. Lower the time frame, we might get more divergence in a short term frame. And a lot of traders look at these shorter time frames because the possibility of getting a divergence on more divergences on more number of divergence on a shorter time frame would be high. I hope that answers your question. Anybody else, if you all have any questions, please continue to post your questions. Just to summarize the entire thing again, like I mentioned to you all, regular divergence signals possible trend reversal, whereas a hidden divergence signals a trend continuation. Now let's make this a little more interesting. I will go on to the live platform so we can see the price action on a live chart. And also probably I'll look at it on a 5 minute chart, so that on a 5 minute chart, if we do find a divergence, that would be great. If we do not find a divergence, I will still show you how to use RSI and how you can use RSI to your advantage to identify overbought and oversold conditions. Let me just share my screen with you on the live chart. Hi, I hope all of you all can hear me now. Sorry, I was on mute. I hope you can see my chart. If you can hear me and see the chart, please do give a thumbs up or drop in a message in the chat, please. I'm not getting any feedback. I hope all of you all can hear me and see the chart. Please do give me your feedback. All right, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Now, coming to the charts, this is a live trade. The prices are live. The account is a demo account, but the prices are still going live. This is the price of small cap at this current moment. It is trading at $2,246, and that's the live price. There is another chart I have here for you, which is the Euro USD, which we just saw in the example. You saw the divergence here, right? So you see the divergence and then the market reversal. So whenever you see a divergence, you can expect a reversal, and that is what has happened on Euro USD. Now let's look at something on a live chart. Now I have small cap over here. Okay, and this was something that was happening today. It has not yet completed, but then we did identify a good divergence over here. If I look at a 4-hour chart, I see that the prices has been coming down. Of course, this price is what has happened right now in the last couple of hours, where the prices are moving up. Okay, but overall, this was a high that was made. Okay, this was a high that was made. This was the second high that was made, which is a lower high. Okay, now this is another high that it is making, which is also a lower high compared to the last three highs that has made. So whenever I see three lower highs, then I can also immediately look at what is happening on the RSI side of it. Now RSI, I see it has made so starting from this point, sorry. Yeah. So if you can look at this, when it made this high, RSI also did make a high. Okay, when it made this high, RSI kind of did make a lower high, but eventually the price did not make a new high, but however, the RSI has made a new high. Now, can you see the divergence? The market is sloping downwards, or the price is sloping downwards, whereas the RSI is showing that the markets have been extremely overbought. In this condition, one can expect the prices to start dropping back down. Now, not all divergence are going to be a profitable one. There are few divergence which can continue, which can be a divergence. Like for example, let's take this particular trade right now. Let's say I expect the prices to come down, so I short the market. But what happens if the divergence fails and the market continues going up? Now I'm going to make a huge loss if the market goes up. So in this case, I need to always, any indicator that you see, one small disclosure that I would like to put right now is, whatever I'm showing you right now is just for the demonstration purpose. Do not use these on your live accounts without consulting your advisor, because every trade that each individual stake will be determined based on the risk appetite a particular investor takes and on the objective that you might have. So anything that we are showing you right now is for demonstration purpose only. Do not take it as signals or do not take any trades on this. This is just for the demo purpose. But however, if you still find the trade interesting and you feel your objective is in line with the trade that I'm showing you as an example, please speak to your consultant before you take any decisions. Now, in this case, it's a divergence that we expect the market to reverse. So it is, this is the normal divergence that we were talking about initially, where we expect the market to drop. But the question a lot of us have is, if this is the scenario that all of us should continue making money every time we see a divergence. That is not the case. Every time we see a divergence, yes, it's a trading opportunity, but we should also have risk management in place. In this case, a person would take a sell position over here. Let me just open an order ticket, right? So let's say you have $10,000 and you want to invest $10,000 on a short-term time frame. Do not put all your money in the same instrument. It's always best to diversify. I'm just putting it as 10 units just for demonstration purpose. And if you're doing it on a shorter time frame, you can also do take leverage, but we do not recommend taking leverage more than two times your account value. So in this case, let's say you do take leverage on this trade, you can take a $20,000 exposure, okay, which is roughly about 8.9 units. Let's make this round figure. Let's say you take a 10 unit Hi, can you all hear me? Thank you, Rahan. Thank you, Rishad. Thank you all. I hope you all can hear me now. Hopefully, this does not happen again. Sorry about the technical glitch. Let me just share my screen again to you. Perfect. I hope you can hear me and see my screen as well. Please just send me one last yes so that I know you can see the screen as well because that's important. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So let's come back to where we left off. Please do put in your questions if you all want me to repeat something. Right now, we are talking about shorting this particular instrument because we've seen a divergence. We've seen it make lower highs, whereas RSI has made higher highs. So that's the divergence that we see. Now, the expectation or the signal that the particular chart is giving me is that we can expect the prices to go back down. Okay. Now, if it goes back down, good for us. We are going to make money. But what in the case of it does not go down and this particular RSI kind of fails, and then let's say by tomorrow, this actually the lower lows that it's making, maybe it ends up breaching and makes a newer high. So I'm just going to keep this here. Yeah. So let me make that yellow. Yeah. Let's say it makes a new high. And then the whole divergence has now failed and the market could end up continuing going up. So in this case, we'll always make sure any trade, even if we have 100% probability, or probably there are trades that you've done back to back, you've seen profits, it making you profit. Let's say you found 10 divergence, you took all the trades on all the 10 divergence and all of them made money. Even in that case, or 100 times it has made money, even in that case, we would always recommend, always have your exit plan ready, that is your stop loss. Okay, so in this case, I will tell you how to keep a stop loss. Let's say the whole idea of me taking a short position expecting the prices to go down, those of you do not understand what shorting means. Basically, I'll keep it very simple. You need to, instead of buying, you're just taking a sell position. Do not go beyond. How can you sell something you do not have a buy into? That's a different topic for another day. But just to make it very easy to understand, if you take a sell position, which you can in the markets, and the prices go down, you make money. If the prices go up, you lose money. So it's as simple as that. Just for understanding, you take a short position. When the prices go down, you make money. When the prices go up, you lose money. So in this case, we are taking a short because the highs have been lower highs. So what happens is when I take a trade on this, I am going to keep a stop loss from where my trend has actually begun. In this, in this divergence had begun from this particular candlestick. So I will make sure I'll keep a stop loss above that, because once the price moves above this, that means my divergence strategy has failed. Okay, so I will exit out of the trade and I will not sit on the sell side hoping for it to come back. Okay, so trading technical indicators also needs a lot of discipline, and one of the main discipline is that you always use stop loss on every trade, irrespective of how confident you are with the trade. So in this case, I'm going to keep a stop loss above this. Now you will understand why I've kept a stop loss there. And now comes the take profit. Now I need to understand, I can keep a take profit here, I can keep a take profit here, or I can keep my take profit all the way here. How am I supposed to decide how many dollars of take profit should I keep? This is where our ATR comes into play. Now let me just open ATR. Okay, this is my ATR. Okay, so my ATR says on a 4-hour chart, the price moves about $12. Okay, now in this case, you see the prices has moved up, or the prices have dropped from this level, that is from 6th of August. It has come down all the way till here, so that's almost uh, 15 days or 14 days from the time the prices have dropped, and vice versa. When it is going up, it has gone up by from 28th to 26. In 6 days, it has recovered the entire drop it has made. Now, based on the number of days that it has taken, now let's say on a 4 hour chart, it's giving us a $12 move. But now we understand that it takes days to come down, days to go up. Let's say I look at a weekly time frame. Now, on a weekly time frame, do not worry about the chart. Just look at the ATR over here. On a weekly time frame, small cap can move about $100. Okay. Now I'm going to change the time frame to daily. On a daily chart, small cap can move about $40. Okay. Now let me come back to my 4 hour chart where we found the signal. Okay. Now we understand on a weekly movement, small cap can give us as much as $100 move. On a daily time frame, it can give us a move of almost $40. Now we also understand it took about 6 days to go up, it took about 16 days to drop. So if you take an average of how many dollars it can move between 6 and 16 days, it is roughly going to be about anywhere between 50 to $100. So if you just stick with the RSI, I'm sorry, if you just stick with the ATR, you can understand that in the next 1 week's time, we can expect a move of $100. So that is where we are going to measure $100 move. For you to measure your movement, you have again your draw tools. Okay, you can click on this price over here. I'm just going to measure it starting from current price. And if you can see, the numbers are increasing over here, right? So can you see this? There's a 100-point move. So that means the prices, if it comes down here, that means it is $100 move. Now there are two ways you can do this. You've kept your stop loss. Stop loss will never be changed. No matter what happens, you always keep your stop loss. Do not move it. Stop loss is going to remain. You can choose to keep a take profit of $100 lower, or if you want to be a little more secure and you want to take a profit a little more earlier, you can always choose a $40 take profit. So that will be somewhere roughly around here. All right, this is a $40 take profit. If I move this back up, yeah, you see it's $40. So depending on your risk appetite and your patience and your strategy and objective for your account, you can decide whether you want to hold on for the entire $100 or if you want to hold on to it only for $40. Now, again, to clarify, why did I choose $40 as my target and $100 as my target? Because when I look at my ATR on a monthly time frame, we are looking at the ATR right now. It moves about $100. Sorry, that's a month. On a weekly time frame, we see it moves about $100. And on a daily time frame, a person who is looking at a more short-term view would look at a daily time frame, and he understands it can give him about $40. So you can enter the trade and keep a $40 take profit, and that is how we use ATR to determine how much of take profit or how much of stop loss in certain cases to keep. In this case, our stop loss is very well defined. We understand if it goes beyond this point, the divergence or the strategy has failed, and hence you take a loss of $200 and exit. In the case of $40, since you have 10 units, 10 into $20 against you, or in this case, it is moving about $22 against you. You lose about $220. But let's say it comes down to your average $40 on the downside, you make about $400 over there. Anyone who can wait till $100 drop, then you make about $1,000. So basically, 10 into the number of dollars the particular instrument will be moving. I have another question: $100 upside or downside? Okay, I'm talking about again. We are talking about ATR. ATR does not give you direction. ATR only tells you how many dollars a particular instrument can move in a particular time frame. Let me just show you that to you on a different chart. Let's open. Maybe let's look at gold. Yeah, gold is something that everybody likes trading on. I'm going to close RSI. I'm just going to use ATR. I'm going to open ATR. Now this is the ATR for gold. I will make first. I'll change it into a monthly time frame. All right. So ATR as of today on a monthly time frame tells me that gold can move $122, but it does not mean gold can move $122 down or up. It's just telling me how many dollars it can move as of today. If you just go back a little more, few 2 more years behind, in 2019, gold used to move only in a range between $80 to $50. In 2012, gold used to move on a range of $120. So it only tells me in a month how many dollars gold can move. But where do I identify my direction? When I start using my RSI is where I'm going to see if gold is overbought or oversold. Let's look at RSI on gold on a monthly time frame. RSI, and this is gold, right? Let's look at the recent drop that has happened on RSI. RSI came to overbought, right? The price movement on gold on a monthly time frame was about $100 at that point of time. Okay, the prices eventually dropped because gold was highly overpriced. So RSI is indicating that the prices are overbought and it can drop. Gold, the prices dropped, but the ATR still remained about $100. So the ATR does not tell you the direction of the market, it just tells you how many dollars it can move in a given month. Okay, now coming back to our small cap, now we understand that small cap can drop $100 or it can also go up by $100. ATR only gives me the number of dollars, but what my RSI is showing is that small cap is highly overbought at this point of time. That is one indication that the prices could go down. Okay. Second indication is there's a divergence. You can see the price action making lower highs, whereas your RSI is making higher highs. That is your second indicator showing that the prices can drop. Now, again, in terms of the probability of these trades going in your favor is never going to be 100%. This trade can go well against us, and hence we always make sure we keep stop losses on every single trade. So stop loss take profit is a mandatory thing that we need to keep on every single trade that you take. Even if the trade has made us money for the last 100 times, we still keep our stop losses because we always stick with the strategy that we're going along with. We One thing that a technical trader should avoid is after you have got your signal and you have entered on the right tools with the right indications, we should never change the view. Like for example, in this case, I'm expecting the prices to go down, but let's say the prices continue to go up. I would never remove my stop loss because my view was based on this particular technical pattern that has been formed. So we never change the view. We always exit when the technical pattern does not go in your favor. Now coming to more simpler use of RSI, let's leave the divergence aside. Let's look at just a normal moment in the market. I'll try and do this trade on a 5 minute chart, although the market has not been moving quite as much as I hope for the day. But let's say we still try and find maybe a trade on a 5 minute chart. Now a 5 minute chart is never advisable because you can never be profitable on it unless an instrument moves about $100 in 5 minutes. I'm showing it to you on 5 minute chart because it can give us a better view in the short time frame that we have. We have about 10 minutes left. In fact, I'm already overshooting the time because we've started 10 minutes late. Let me take this 10 minutes, the next 10 minutes, to show you how RSI looks on a 5 minute chart. Now, RSI showed oversold here, right? And then what happened to the price action after that? The prices went up. Okay. Now, there is no divergence in this. RSI is going completely in line with the market price. Okay, so a lot of people who do not look for divergences or do not want to wait for divergence, they trade completely on overbought and oversold condition. In this case, a person who does not take a divergence strategy, every time he sees it at overbought, sorry, oversold, he will buy it. and every time he sees it at overbought, he will take a sell position. In this case, it was overbought, and then you see the price drops. Okay. Now, at this current moment, it's right in the middle, so there's nothing much we should be doing about it. Now, in this case, where does the guy keep stop loss or take profit? Let's open our ATR. Yeah, ATR. Again, ATR will tell me how many dollars can Nasdaq move. Okay, let me close this board. Yeah, how many on a 5 minute time frame? How many dollars can Nasdaq move? So on a 5 minute chart, it can move about $11. $11 is a big move for Nasdaq on a 5 minute chart. So it is giving good momentum. We have that. Now let's say if somebody had to buy at this particular price, what would he do to keep as take profit and stop loss? Now RSI is showing me that it can move about five to at this point of time. RSI could move $5. So when you take a trade from chart, it is a buy signal. So let's take a buy at 15,330. 15,330. Okay. So basically, the buy signal was somewhere here. Actually, in fact, it was a little higher. Now you need to keep your take profit. You need to keep your stop loss, right? So we've got the signal to enter. Signal. This is the more simpler strategy when it comes to trading on RSI. The signal is every time it is oversold, you look at buying. So you take a buy. Let's say this blue line is where you had entered buy. In this case, let me say you're going to be investing $20,000. Okay, that's about 1.3 units. Let's make it 2 units. You're investing about $30,000 on a $10,000 account. That's three times leverage. You're going to be entering at this price at 15,347. Now, my ATR says that it can move about $5 at this point of time. So I will put a 5 point stop loss. Okay, and I will put a 5 point take profit. Now, this is if you're looking at 1:1 risk reward ratio. Now, you can always look at RSI, sorry, the ATR on a 30-minute time frame. Now, on a 30-minute time frame, it can move easily about 10. At this point of time, it is moving about $17. So let's say you keep a stop loss of 15. $15 stop loss and $15 take profit. So for us to be profitable, it's always advisable that you risk 1:2. If you're keeping a stop loss of $15, you always keep a take profit of $30 minimum. Okay, that is when you're going to be profitable in the long run. Now let's just look at a 5 minute chart again in terms of this particular trade. Okay, we entered here on the blue line. Okay, I've kept a 15 point stop loss based on the ATR of 30 minutes because 5 minutes is a very small time frame for us to trade. But I'm just giving you an example on a 5 minute trade because you can see this momentum happening. In fact, I'm waiting for this to come down to over sold right now so that I can take a live trade for you all. But in this case, let's look at the past performance. This happened at 3:30 p.m. Today in the afternoon. So it gave a signal for buy. If someone had to take a buy on this particular trade, eventually market went up. So on a 2 unit exposure, you would have made a profit of $2. Sorry, $60 because two into $30 in your favor, you make $60. And if it did go against you, if it had to hit your stop loss, you would have lost $30. Now, once you have your take profit and stop loss set, and making sure that you will never move your stop loss from here, that is the time you can always take a little higher exposure, provided that once your stop loss is kept, you're not going to move it. So let's say on the same trade, I took a trade worth $300,000. All right, let's keep it 10 units, $150,000. Now I'm highly over leveraged. My account value is only $10,000 and I've taken an exposure worth $150,000. But in this case, I will not be too concerned. Reason being, the maximum loss I'm going to incur if the market goes against me is $150. I did not change my stop loss. It is still going to be there. Same 15 points move, right? $15 move against me. I will take the hit. $30 in my favor. It goes, I make $300. And this is where you maximize your profit. You first identify your entry point. Make sure your stop loss is there. Even if you do not have a take profit, it is completely fine. Stop loss is a must. And every strategy, risk management in place will always make you a successful trader over the long period of time. Yes, there are days where you might see stop loss getting hit maybe back to back 2 to 3 times or 4 times. But as long as you're following the strategy and the signal as per what the chart says without any emotional trading, any investor in the long run or any even short-term traders in the long run would make a good amount of return provided that they follow all the rules for intraday or short-term trading. Uh, we've kind of overshot by 5 minutes. I'll take the next 5 minutes. If you all have any questions, please do write it in the chat and I'll try and respond to you all before we leave for the day. I hope you all understood at least the basics of why people use RSI. Every time they see it at oversold, they know that the price could reverse and hence buyers come back into these regions to buy. And that's why the price action takes place. Vice versa, every time it goes to overbought, buyers look at selling off their position and maybe short sellers would start selling their position to make profit when the market drops back down. All right, so I'm guessing not many questions, but do not worry. It was a very short period of time for us to look at a lot of things. What I've showed you today is very basic. Okay, we can go much more in advanced. We need to look at a lot of other factors, like let's say RSI. I can look at it on a different time frame, and even ATR. I can look at it on a different time frame. You can always fine tune your technical indicators which will suit your objective. Now if you are a long term trader, probably I would never look at a 5 minute chart. I would always look at a weekly chart, or I would always look at a monthly chart, right? But if you're a short-term trader, and when I say short-term trader, you're looking at taking maybe 1 or 2 trades during a week, then I will look at a daily chart. Okay, if you're an ultra short term trader who wants to take advantage of the market move, maybe 5 6 trades a day, then I would probably look at a 30-minute chart, right? So depending on the time frame, you can always fine tune your instruments. What I would recommend is you always be in touch with your consultant. Tell them your objective. Be clear with your risk appetite and what kind of returns you are planning to make, and they will always advise you what time frame and what indicators are the best suited for you. Uh, I have one last question here. One on Fibonacci is there? Yes, I do a lot of sessions on Fibonacci. Fibonacci is mainly on more on advanced technical analysis. Mostly the next session would be on Fibonacci. We will keep you informed. Please keep in touch with your market consultant, or if you're already trading with us, be in touch with your relationship manager as well. They will update you every time we have a seminar on technical analysis. And most likely, I think the next session or the next to next session is again going to be on Fibonacci, and you can join me back on that. That will be a little more advanced, but I hope today's session has added more value even for the ones who already have experience in the market. Please do write in your feedback for me. That would help me better myself probably for the next webinar. I hope everything that I have shared with you was crystal clear. It was easy to understand. And please also do not forget to give us a review on Google. Thank you all again so much for your time. It was nice doing this session for you all, and hopefully we'll have live sessions starting very soon. But till then, we'll be having it on the online platforms. So hope to see you all again soon for the next session when we are having the advanced session. And look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you all again so much. Take care and God bless.